continuing with the reading from the Meditations, Book 5. In the morning, when you find yourself unwilling to rise, have this thought at hand: I arise to the proper business of man, and shall I repine at setting about that work for which I was born and brought into the world? Am I equipped for nothing but to lie among the bad clothes, bedclothes, and keep warm? But you say it is more pleasant so. Is pleasure then the object of your being, and not action, not the exercise of your the exercise of your powers? Do you not see the smallest plants, the littlest sparrows, the ants, the spiders, the bees, all doing their part and working for order in the universe as far as in them lies? And you will refuse the part in the design which is laid on man. Will you not pursue the course which accords with you, with your own nature? You say, I must have rest, assuredly, but nature appoints a measure for rest, just as for eating and drinking. In rest, you go beyond these limits and beyond what is enough. But in action, you do not fill the measure and remain well within your powers. You do not love yourself. If you did, you would love your nature and its purpose. Others have loved the art that they have made of their own, exhaust themselves and with laboring and it at it unwashed and unfed. But you honor your own nature less than the carver honors his carving, less than the dancer honors his dancing, the miser his gold, or the vain man his empty fame. These men, when desires take them, count, count food and sleep, will lost, if they can better realize the object of their longing, and shall the pursuit of the common good seem less precious in the eyes and worthy of lesser zeal. How easy it is to thrust away and bolt out each impression that is disturbing and unfit, and forthwith to enjoy perfect tranquillity. Judge no speech or action unworthy of you which is consistent with nature. Be not dissuaded by any consequent criticism or censure from others, but if speech or action be honorable, judge yourself worthy to say or do it. Those who criticize you have their own conscience and their own motives. These these you are not to regard, but follow a straight course guided by your own nature and nature of the universe, both of which point the same way. I walk the way which is nature's until at last I shall fall and be at rest, breathing out my breath into the air wherefrom I daily drew it, following on the earth from where my father drew his seed, my mother her blood, and my nurse the milk which nourished me, on the earth which has given me my daily food and drink through all these years, which sustains my footstep and bears with me her manifold abuser. Men cannot admire you for your shrewdness, be it so, but there is many another quality of which you cannot say it is not in me. Display these, be they are wholly in your power. Be sincere, be dignified, be painstaking, scorn pleasure, repine not at fate, need little, be kind and frank, love not exaggeration and vain talk, strive after greatness, do you not see how many virtues you might show, of which you are yet content to fall short, though you have not excuse that they are absent or that you are unfit for them? Are you driven by some want in your equipment to be quarrelsome, querulous, to be miserly, to be a flatterer, to reproach your body with your own faults, to cringe to others, to be vainglorious, to have all the restlessness in your soul? No, by the gods, you might have escaped these vices long ago. All your fault then is that you are somewhat slow and dull of comprehension. This you should strive to correct by exercise, neither neglecting your dullness nor taking a mean pleasure in it. Some men Some men, when they have done you a favor, are you ready to reckon up the obligation they have conferred? Others, again, are not so forward in their claims, but yet in their minds consider your own debtor and well known the value of what they have done. A third sort seem to be unconscious of their service. They are like the vine, which produces its clusters and is satisfied when it has yielded its proper fruit. The horse when he has run his course, the hound when he has followed the track, the bee when it has made its honey, and man when he has done good to others. Make no noisy boast of it, but set out to do the same once more. As the vine in its season produces its new clusters again, should we then be among those who in manner know not what they do assuredly, but this very thing implies intelligence, for it is a property of unselfish man to perceive that he is acting unselfishly, and surely to wish his fellow also to perceive it. True, but if you misapprehend by saying you will enter the ranks of those whom I of whom I spoke before, they too are led astray by specious reasoning. But if you have the will to understand what by my principle truly means, fear not that is in willing it will neglect the duty of unselfishness. This is the prayer of the Athenians. Rain, rain, dear Jews, on the plains and the plowlands of Athenians. Men should either not pray at all or pray after this frank and simple fashion. Just as one says that Osci- Asclepius Asclepius has prescribed a course of riding for someone, or the cold bath, or walking barefoot, so it may be said that the guiding mind prescribed for a man disease or mutilation or losses or the like prescribed in the first case means that such treatment was enjoyed on the patient as might coincide with the needs of his health. In the second case, it means that each man's fortune is appointed to coincide with the purposes of the faith. Now, the very word confi- coincidence implies something like that correspondence of squared stones in a wall or a pyramid, which workmen speak of when they fit them together in some structure. All things are united in one blood of harmony, and just as all existing bodies go to make the visible world what it is, so destiny, as the general causes, is compounded of all particular causes. The most unphilosophical grasp my meaning, for they say, fate gave this to so and so. This was appointed or prescribed for him. Let us then receive the decrees of the fate as we have received the prescriptions of Asclepius. Asclepius. He prescribes He prescribes many things for us, and some one of them are harsh medicine. Yet we obey him gladly in the hope of health, and consider therefore that, for nature, the doing of her work and fulfilling of her purposes are, as it were, her health, and welcome all that happens, even should it seem hard fortune, because it tends to the health of universe and to the prosperity of and felicity of Zeus. He would not have brought this or that or on any other on any man, they did not contribute to the good of the whole, nor does any part of the nature system bring anything to pass which suits not with her government. For two reasons, then you should content yourself with what befalls you. The first is that it was created and ordained for you, and was in a manner related to you from the beginning in the weaving of all destinies from the great first causes. The second is that even what happens severely to each man contributes to the well-being and prosperity of the man which governs all things, and indeed even even to its continued existence. For the whole is maimed if you break in the slightest degrees this continuous connections, whether of the parts or causes, and this you are doing your best to break and to destroy whenever you find at fate. Fret not, neither despond nor be disheartened, if it be not always possible for you to act according to the principles of perfection. If you are beaten off, return again to the effort and contain yourself that your conduct is generally such as becomes a man. Love the good to which you return, and come back to the philosophy, not as one who comes to a master, but as one whose eyes aches recourse to sponge and egg, as another has recourse to plasters, and third to fermentation. And thus you will make no empty show of obeying reason, but find that it gives you rest. Remember that philosophy demands no more than what your nature requires, but you are wont you are wont to desire other things, other things which accord not with your nature. For what you say can be more delightful than such things. Is not this the very snare which pleasure sets for us? Yet consider if magnanimity, frankness, simplicity, kindness, and pity be not even greater delights, and what is sweeter than wisdom itself? When you are conscious of security and felicity in your powers of apprehension and reason, the nature of the things are so covered up from us that so many philosophers, and these no mean ones, all things seem incomprehensible. The Stoics themselves own that is the difficult own that it is difficult to comprehend anything with certainty. All our assent is inconsistent, and where is the consistent man? Consider too the objects of our knowledge, how transitory they are, and uh, how often they are in the possession of a debauchee, of the harlot, of the robber. Review again the morals of your contemporaries. Is it sincerely possible to tolerate the best mannered among them? To say that a man can scarcely tolerate himself amid such darkness and filth, in this perpetual flux of substance, of time, of motion, and of things moved, I can perceive nothing worth of esteem or of desire. On the contrary, we should comfort ourselves as we await our natural dissolution, and not be vexed at the delay, but find rest in those thoughts. First, that nothing can befall us which is not in accord with the nature of all things. Second, that it is always in our power not to do anything against the divine spirit within us. To use no force can compel us. To what end am I using my soul? Let me examine myself as to this on all occasions, and consider what is passing now in that part of me, which man call the ruler of the rest. Let me think too, whose is the soul that I have? Is it a child's? Is it a youth, a timorous woman, or a tyrant, the soul of a tame beast or of savage one? Of what value the things are which the many account good you may judge from this. If a man has conceived certain things, such as prudence, temperance, justice, or courage, to be good in the real sense, he cannot, while he is of his this mind, readily listen to the traditional guide about the superabundance of such things. It will not fit the cause, but when he has in the mind things which seem good in the eyes of the multitude, he is perfectly willing to hear and accept as quite appropriate the reality of the comic poet. Thus, even the ordinary man perceives the difference, for if this were not so, we would not in the first case repudiate the, the jest the jest as offensive, nor would we salute it as a happy witticism when applied to wealth or to the opulence which produces luxury and ostentation. Proceed then and put the question whether these things are to be valued and esteemed good, of which we have such the opinion that we may aptly say of their possessor, he has so many possessions about him that he has no place wherein to ease himself. I consist of a formal and a material element. Neither of those two shall die or fade into the nothingness, since neither came into being out of nothing. Every part of me then will be transformed and ranged again in some part of the universe. That part of the universe will itself be transmuted in another part, and so on for all time coming. By some such change as this, I come into being. Likewise, my progenitors, and so back from all time past. There is no objection to this theory, even though the world be governed by determined cycles of revolution. Reason and the art of thinking are powers which are complete in themselves and in their special processes. They start from their own internal principle and proceed to their appointed end. Such mental acts are called right to indicate that the course of the thought is right or fit. Nothing should be said to be part of a man which is not part of his human nature. Things that are not part of his essence cannot be required of him, and have no part in the promise or fulfillment of his nature. Therefore, in such things lies neither the end of a man nor the good which crowns that end. Moreover, if anything were really part of a man, it would not be proper for him to despise it or to revolt against it, nor would it he be praiseworthy who made himself independent thereof. If non-essential things were indeed good, he could be no good man, no good man, who's stinted himself in the use of them. But as we see, the more a man goes without them, and the more that he endures the want of them, the better a man he is. The character of your most frequent impression will be the character of your mind. The soul takes color from its impressions. Therefore, step in it such thoughts as these. Wherever a man can live, he can live well. A man can live in a court, therefore he can live well there. Again, everything works towards that for which it was created, and that to which anything works in its end. And in the end of everything, it is to be found the advantage and the good of it. Now, for reasoning, being, society is the highest good, for it has long since been proved that we were brought into the world to be social. Nay, was it not manifest that the inferior kinds were formed for the superiors, and the superiors for the each other? Now the animate is superior, and inanimate, the beings that the reason to those that only live. To pursue impossibilities is madness, and it is impossible that the wicked should not act in such in some such way as this. Nothing can befall any man which he is not fitted by nature to bear. The like events befall others, the other through ignorances that the event has happened, or from ostentation of magnanimity. They stand firm and unhurt by them. Strange they then that ignorance or their strength should have more strength than wisdom. Material things cannot touch the soul at all, nor have any access to it. Neither can they bend or move it. The soul is bent or moved by itself alone, and remodels all things that present themselves from without in accordance in whatever judgment it adopts within. And in one respect, man is nearest and dearest to me, in so far that is, as I must do to him, bear with him. But in so far as some men obstruct me in natural activity, man enters the class of the things different to me, no less than sun, the wind, or the wild beast. By these, indeed, some special action may be imputed, but to interference with my purpose or with my inward disposition can come from them, thanks to my expective and modifying powers. For the mind can convert and change everything that impedes its activity into the matter for its action. Hinders in its work becomes its real help, and every obstruction makes for its progress. Reverence that which is most excellent in the universe, and the most excellent is that which employs all things and rules. Likewise, reverence that which is the most excellent in yourself. Is it of the same nature as the former? For it is that which employs all else that is in you, and that by which your whole life is ordered. That which harms not the city cannot harm the citizen. Apply the rule whenever you have the idea that you are hurt. If the state be not hurt by this, neither am I harmed. And if the state be hurt, we should not be wrathful with him who hurt it. Where lay his oversight. Consider frequently how swiftly things that exist or are coming into existence are shaped by and carried away. Their substance is as a river perpetually flowing. Their actions are in a continual change, and that causes subject to 10,000s of alterations. Scarcely anything is stable, and vast eternities of past and future in which all the things are swallowed up are closed upon us on both hands. Is it, is he not then a fool who is puffed up with success in the things of this world, or is distracted or worried as if he were in a time trouble likely to endure for long? Keep in mind the universe of a being in which your part is exceeding small, the universe of a time of which a brief and fleeting moment is assigned to you, the destiny of the things and how infi- infinitesimal your share therein. That means very small. Does an another wrong me? Let him look to that. His character and his actions are his own. So much is in my present possessions as it dispense to me the nature of things, and I act as I may on nature now bids me. Let the leading and the ruling part of your soul stand unmoved, and the steering of the flesh, whether gentle or rude, let it be commingled with them, but keep itself apart and confine these passions to their proper bodily parts, and if they rise into the soul by any sympathy with the body to which it is united, then we must not attempt to resist the sensation, seeing that it is of our nature, but let not the soul fall apart, and there too the conception that the sensation is good or bad. Live with the gods, and he lives with the God who continually displays to them his soul, living in satisfaction with its lot, and doing the will of the inward spirit, the portion of his own divinity which Zeus has given to every man for a ruler and a guide. This is the intelligence, the reasons that abides in us all. Are you angry with one whose armpits smell or whose breath is foul? That is the use. His mouth or his armpits are so, and the consequence must follow. But you say man is a reasonable being and could by attention discern in what he offends. Very well, you too have reason. Use your reason to move his, instruct, admonish him, and if he listens, you will cure him, and there will be no reason for anger. You are neither actor nor harlot. As you intend to live at your going, so you can live here. But if men do not permit you, then depart from life. Yet so as if no misfortune had befallen you. If my house be smoky, I go out. And where is the great matter? So long as no such trouble drives me out, I remain at my will, and no one will prevent me from acting as I will, and my will is the will of a reasonable and social being. The intelligence of the universe is social, it has therefore made the inferior orders for the sake of superior, has suited the superior beings for another. You see how it had subordinated and coordinated and distributed to each according to its merits and engaged the nobler beings into mutual agreement and unanimity. How have you behaved towards the gods, towards your parents, your brothers, your wife, your children, your teachers, those who reared you, your friends, your intimates, your slaves? Can it be said that can it be said that you have ever acted towards all of them in the spirit of the line? He wrought no harshness, spoke no unkind words. Recollect all you have passed through, all that have strength to bear. Your life is now a tale that is told, and the services is all discharged. Recall the fair sights you have seen, the pleasures and the pains you have despised, and so-called glory that you have foregone, and unkindly men to whom you have shown kindness. How it is that unskilled and ignorant souls disturb the skillful and intelligent. What, I ask, is the skillful and intelligent soul? Is it that which knows the beginning and the end, and the reason which pervades all being, and the determined cycle rules the universe for all? In a little space, you will be only ashes and a dry bones, and a name, perhaps not even that. A name is but so much empty sound and echo, and the things which are so much prized in life are empty, mean, and rotten. We are as puppies that snap at the another, as children that quarrel, laugh, presently weep, and again. The integrity, modesty, justice, truth, up from the wide wide earth, have soared to heaven. What then should detain you here? Things sensible are ever changing and unstable. The senses are dull and easily deceived. The poor soul itself is a mere exhalation from blood. Fame in such a world is a thing of naught. What then? You wait calmly, extinction or transformation, whichever it may be, until the fullness fullness of the time becomes that is to suffice you. What else than a life spent in fearing and praising the gods, and in the practice of benevolence, tolerance, and forbearance towards men, and whatsoever lies beyond the bounds of the flesh and the breath? Remember that it is neither yours nor in your power. A prosperous life may be yours if only you can take the right path and keep it to it in all things or do. Two advantages are common to gods, to men, and to every ra- rational soul. In the first place, nothing external to themselves has power to hinder them. In the second, their happiness lies in having mind and conduct dispose of justice, and in the power to make the end of all desire. If the fault be not, if the fault be not my soul, nor a consequence of it, and if there are no damage to the common good, why I'm perturbed about it? Wherein is the harm to the common good? Be not incautiously carried away by sentiment, but aid him that needs it according to your power and his desert. If we need be so, be free of the things which are indifferent, think not that he is harmed thereby, for so to think is an evil habit, but as in the comedy, the old man begs to have his foster child stop for a keepsake, though he knows well that it is a top and nothing more, and should you act also in the affairs of life. You mount the rostra and cry aloud, "Oh man, have you forgotten what is, is the real value of what you see?" No, but the many are keen in the pursuit of it. Are you then are you then to be a fool because they are? In whatever case I had been left, I could have made my fortune. For what is it to make a fortune but to confer good things on oneself? And true good things are a worthy frame of mind, worthy impulses, worthy actions.